Hi everyone, let's talk books, and today I have a book haul. It's a pretty big one. Well, maybe not. I have some pretty big books in this haul, but there's been some conversation lately on Twitter amongst booktubers about the purpose of hauls, and it has really made me reflect on how booktube has changed some of my book buying habits. I've always been a book buyer. I like buying books from used bookstores, from Barnes & Noble, from Amazon, from the used book sale, at the bookstore, but I have discovered some online retailers since getting into booktube, like Book Depository and sites like that, which have been really great because it allows you to buy books at a discount. And I have been buying more books than normal since starting this booktube channel. Now, most of it is not because I feel pressured to buy books. I feel like I stress buy a lot, and I get really, I have a little bit of an addicting personality, so I get really into something and it's like I become addicted to it. Like makeup. I have a makeup channel. I have way too much makeup that more than I could ever possibly use in my lifetime. So it becomes a hobby and an obsession. And at this point in my life and in my career, I have the disposable income to spend on these hobbies and obsessions. So I just want to make that clear. I do get books from the library regularly, and used books. Most of these though are brand new books, and a lot of it is just these are books that I really wanted to own. So serious discussion aside, let's get into it, and let me share some of the books that I've been buying. These are books that I want in my collection, by the way, books that I plan on reading, and I'm just sharing them with you, and I will give you the information I have on what the book's about and what I really I'm looking for, really, for anybody that's watching this video, is for you to let me know if you've read any of these books and if I should be moving them up on my TBR. So the first book I definitely picked up because of booktube, or people on booktube, and that is The Three Musketeers. I have a bit of a story that goes along with this book. One, I tried to read this book when I was in middle school. For all of 7th and 8th grade, I was checking this book out constantly out of my library. This was the moment in which I really got deep into reading and into reading the classics. I also tried to read The Scarlet Letter in middle school and could not finish that book. Picked it up back in high school, finished it then. So I kept checking this book out of the library, Three Musketeers, because it was the biggest book that library had. And I was like, I know I can read this book. I'm going to read this book. Guys, I never read more than the first few pages of it. I just kept checking it out, thinking that I would eventually read it. So I'm thinking that I need to go back to it the way I did with The Scarlet Letter. That book was too complex, too mature for me when I was in 7th and 8th grade, but high school I was able to read it no problem. So I feel like it's finally time to tackle The Three Musketeers again. And the reason it came back into my mind was because Ryan C. from Ryan C. Reads is doing a buddy read, a read along of it, and I couldn't read it with that group, although it would have been really great to do it. But I saw that a lot of the people that are reading it had this edition of it, and how gorgeous is this edition. I just really loved it. So I had to go in and look for it and pick it up. It is a super long book, guys. It is. Let me see where this is in. It's got a lot of notes. Oh my god, why does it have so many notes? So it looks like it is 700 or just under 700 pages, just under 700 pages. But it is a French classic, and since I have started my reading the French classics on my channel, I thought this would be a perfect book for that. Okay, next book is another major book. It's Alexandre Dumas's The Count of Monte Cristo. This book I picked up because of Emily Fox, who is reading it currently and is really liking it. I tend to like a lot of her recommendations, so when she said that she liked this book, that it wasn't too heavy, I knew that I had to pick it up. And so I went online and looked for an edition that I liked, and this one is so pretty. I think this is what I like about like collecting classics, is that you can find like an edition that really suits your taste in terms of aesthetic. So this is a huge book. Okay, oh my goodness. This is close to 1,500 pages. 14, let me see, this one's easier to track down. 1462. 1,462 pages. Still, this is another classic that I think I can incorporate into my reading the classic series. So I'm actually really excited to start reading those at some point. I don't know when I'll get to these, but it might be sooner than later, because you guys just don't know how excited I am about the possibility of reading those. Alright, the next book I got because my boyfriend really wanted to read it. And it is really rare that he like really wants to read a book. And I thought, oh, well, this is something that we can do together, right? And it's Hope Never Dies by, who's the author again? Andrew Shaffer. So this is basically like, it sounds like fan fiction. It is a fictionalized story of former President Barack Obama and former Vice President Joe Biden, who go around solving a murder mystery. I think that's what it is. It sounds absolutely hilarious and ridiculous, and I'm looking forward to reading that. Alright, the next book I bought, well, I first checked this book out of the library. It is And I Darken. It's part of a series by, who's the author? Oh, Kiersten White. So I checked it out of the library, and I needed to return it, and I was like, but I really want to read this book. And I was like, well, why don't I just buy it, because I've heard really great things about the series, and I have a feeling I'm really going to like it. So I think it's a fantasy YA. Let's see, what is it about, because I don't remember. You cannot lose something you do not own. Well, that's true. Okay, there's no real description. Wrenched from their homeland, ever since Lara and her younger brother Radu were abandoned by their father to be raised in the Ottoman courts, Lara has known that being ruthless is the key to survival. She and Radu are pawns in a vicious game, an unseen sword hovering over their every move, for the lineage that marks them special also makes them targets. Their hopes and dreams at odds. Lara despises the Ottomans and bids her time, planning her vengeance for the day when she can return to claim her birthright. Radu longs only for a place where he feels safe. When they meet, Mehmed, the defiant and lonely son of the Sultan, who is expected to rule a nation, Radu feels as if he's made a true friend, and Lara wonders if she's finally found someone worthy of her passion. And only each other to save them. But Mehmed is the heir to the very empire that Lara has sworn to fight against, and that Radu now considers home. Together, Lara, Radu, and Mehmed form a toxic triangle that strains the bonds of love and loyalty to the breaking point. This sounds really amazing. So I do teach the history of the Ottoman Empire in my class, and last semester I taught the book Leo Africanus, which kind of deals with a lot of the themes here. One of the things the Ottoman Empire did was displace a lot of people, displace a lot of Muslim communities, and created a lot of animosity amongst different Muslim groups. So this sounds like it'll be a really interesting fictionalized take on it. So I'm glad I picked it up, and I can't wait to start it, and hopefully I'll really like this series. Alright, the next set of books are kind of along the same veins. They're fantasy books, though these are not YA, but they have that historical twist to them. So the first series, or the first books I'm going to show you are by Naomi Novick, and I bought them all packaged in one, so I need to get rid of this packaging. But it's books 1, 2, and 3 of the Temeraire series. So it's His Majesty's Dragon, Throne of Jade, and Black Powder War. I took a gamble and bought all 3 books. Usually I like to just buy the first book, see if I'm going to like it, and then decide if I'm going to continue with the series or not. But this is a series set in the Napoleonic Wars. I also teach this in my history. I'm a historian of France, so this sounded amazing, combining fantasy, which I love, the Napoleonic Wars, which is just awesome, and and there's a dragon. Like, how can you beat that? So I think I'm gonna like it. That's why I've committed to all first 3 books. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start that one, and then, of course, then you get into Naomi Novick, and then I heard about Spinning Silver, which sounds amazing too. All I know about it is that it is a retelling of the Rumpelstiltskin story. I love the Rumpelstiltskin story, like love it. Oh, I am like super intrigued about this book. I've seen really good reviews of it, so I'm getting to it. A book that now I'm iffy on, also by Naomi Novick, is Uprooted. So this is the one I thought was first about set in the Napoleonic Wars. Turns out it's not. But there's a dragon, and let's see, it's Agnieszka, hope I said that right, loves her valley home in a quiet village. But the corrupted wood stands on the border, full of malevolent power, and its shadow lies over her life. Her people rely on the cold-driven wizard, known only as the dragon, to keep the wood's dark forces at bay. But he demands the terrible price for his assistance. Every 10 years, one young woman must be handed over to serve him without question. The next choosing is fast approaching, and Agnieszka knows, everyone knows, that the dragon will take Cassia, beautiful, graceful, brave Cassia. All the thing Agnieszka isn't, and her dearest friend in the world, and there is no way to save her. But when the dragon comes, it is not Cassia he will choose. That sounds like a really intriguing premise, but I've seen really mixed reviews of this book. There's something in here that happens that didn't sit well with people, and I don't want to spoil it. You can look it up on your own. But if people are right about this, then I am going to have some problems with this book. So, those of you that have read Naomi Novick, I really, please tell me, where do I start? I was going to start with Uprooted, but now I'm a little afraid of starting with that one, because if I really don't like it, it's going to turn me off of her. And it might be a while before I get to the others. So I don't want to do that. I want to start with something that's going to keep me going reading her books, because they sound amazing. So tell me, where do I start with my Naomi Novick? Do I start with Spinning Silver? Should I start with the His Majesty's Dragon? Or should I just go for it? Start with Uprooted. Dig in deep. Well, no point in putting it off. Oh, did I just move this? Go back. Alright. 3 more books that I got. These were very unnecessary books. Not really. I bought them, they were impulse buys, is what they were. The first book I have been wanting for a while, and it's Mary Beard's Women in Power. I really like Mary Beard. She's not totally unproblematic. If you follow her on Twitter, sometimes she does weird things. But this is a really short book, and it deals about women in power beginning in like ancient history. So she writes Roman history. She's a historian, and I really liked SPQR. If you're into ancient history, it's a very information heavy book, but people that are into that history, I think, would really like it. I've assigned it in class, and some students have hated it, but a lot of them have liked it. So really short book, and I think I would save this one for a readathon because it's short and all that, but sounds amazing. Okay, the last 2 books are by Roxane Gay, and she is such an amazing writer. I read Hunger not that long ago and just found it so incredibly sharp and just like oof, she knows how to talk about emotions and trauma really, really well. So, the first book here, it is one of her best-known books, Bad Feminist, and it's a collection of essays on basically feminism and pop culture. And I really want to like sit down with this book, and because it's essays, basically read one every so often and just like dig into it, highlight. I have a feeling this is going to be a heavily annotated book, and that's why I wanted to buy it and not like get it from the library, because my library had it, but I thought, no, based on my reaction to Hunger, I know I'm going to want to annotate it. But when I read Hunger, it was the library book, so I can't, highlight and annotate it the way I want to. So that one I'll probably start reading very soon. And then her more recent book is not that bad. Dispatches from Rape Culture. So she she edited this book. So it's a collection of essays by other writers, all about, it seems like about women's place in the place of women in society, and about rape, right? And kind of different approaches or different experiences with rape culture. So again, this sounds another like amazing but hard to read book. But because it's an essay format, I feel like this is, again, one of those books that I can pick up, read kind of one essay at a time, and I don't have to spend days at a time in reading about this. Like, I can space them out if I so choose. And I've heard good things about this as well. The other thing is, like, if there are good essays in here, then I can potentially use them for when I teach my gender and sex class. So really looking forward to reading these last two. All right, that is it. So it's a significant haul. Why do I keep kicking the camera? So it's a significant haul here, but I feel like these are all books that I've really wanted to own, authors I really wanted to support, and it sound really good. So let me know what you think if you've read them, especially about Naomi Novick. I really want to hear what people's thoughts are on where I should start, because I'm a little scared of Uprooted now. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to read it. I'll still read it, because I like reading controversial books, or books that people either love or hate, because I feel like it can spark really good discussions. And I just love like contributing to those. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.